He was once hailed as the financial wizard of the Middle East, the man who kept Lebanon's economy afloat through war, crisis, and chaos. But today, he's accused of corruption, embezzlement, and playing a central role in one of the worst financial collapses in modern history. This is the story of Riad Salameh, the former central bank governor who ruled Lebanon's monetary system for 30 years. Is he the architect of Lebanon's stability or the engineer of its downfall? Riad Salameh's story begins far from the murky politics of Lebanon. Born in 1950 to a Maronite Christian family, he built his career in the polished corridors of Merrill Lynch in Paris, where he managed the portfolios of Lebanese elites, including, reportedly, the late Prime Minister Rafik Hariri. In 1993, amid the post-Civil War reconstruction, Hariri appointed Salameh as governor of Banque du Liban, Lebanon's central bank. It was a move welcomed by international markets. Salameh was young, Western-educated, and understood global finance. At first, he seemed like a miracle worker. The Lebanese pound remained stable. Investors came. Dollars flowed in. He kept the country's dollar peg alive, even during the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah war and the 2008 global crash. But behind the illusion of stability, something darker was brewing. For ordinary Lebanese citizens, this stability felt like a lifeline. Families could plan their futures, businesses could trade confidently, and a generation grew up believing that their currency was untouchable. Many saw Salameh not just as a banker, but as a national protector. To keep Lebanon's dollar reserves high, Salameh engineered a series of what he called financial operations. Critics had another name for them: Ponzi schemes. Here's how it worked. The central bank offered sky-high interest rates to attract dollar deposits from commercial banks. Those banks, in turn, lent money back to the government to finance its ballooning debt. A circular system, profitable at first, but deeply unsustainable. It worked for a while, but it was fragile. Lebanon wasn't producing anything. Its economy was built on remittances, tourism, and illusions. Economists warned that the system was living on borrowed time. Every dollar entering the banks was already spoken for, recycled to cover old debts. It was a house of cards, impressive to outsiders, but terrifyingly fragile to those who understood the mechanics. By 2019, the game was up. In late 2019, Lebanon's financial system imploded. Banks froze accounts. The pound lost over 90% of its value. Poverty skyrocketed. People took to the streets. The once miraculous Salameh became a national villain. Families who had saved for decades suddenly found their life's earnings trapped behind locked bank doors. Some couldn't pay for medicine, others for food. The middle class, once Lebanon's pride, slipped overnight into poverty. For many, the collapse felt less like a financial crisis and more like a robbery in broad daylight. Salameh insisted he had warned the politicians, that he wasn't responsible for government corruption or fiscal policy. But critics, including international experts, say he was at the heart of it, not just a silent observer, an active enabler. As Lebanon burned, the accusations mounted. In 2021, Swiss prosecutors opened an investigation into Salameh's alleged embezzlement of over $300 million, funneled through shell companies and fake commissions with his brother Raja. In 2023, France and Germany joined in. Assets were frozen. Interpol issued a red notice. The very same Salameh once praised by the IMF was now an international fugitive, at least on paper. Salameh denies everything, claims it's a smear campaign, that his wealth was earned legally, that he saved Lebanon, not ruined it. But the facts, and the missing billions, say otherwise. To blame Lebanon's collapse entirely on Salameh would be too simple. He operated in a system built on sectarian patronage, weak institutions, and elite impunity. The banks, the politicians, the warlords, all had their hands in the pot. But Salameh wasn't just part of the system. For 3 decades, he was the system's enabler-in-chief. He turned the central bank into a black box, unaccountable, unaudited, and untouchable. Even as the country collapsed, he stayed in office until July 2023. clinging to power as people begged for their savings. His departure didn't magically fix the system. The institutions he left behind remained hollow. Trust in banks was shattered, and the Lebanese pound had no anchor. Even today, economists argue that Lebanon may take generations to rebuild the credibility that was lost under his watch. Today, Lebanon is a cautionary tale of how financial mirages can turn into national nightmares, of how institutions rot when one man is allowed to reign unchecked for 30 years. Was Riad Salameh a master manipulator, or just a man riding a tiger he could no longer control? One thing is clear: Lebanon's collapse wasn't an accident. It was engineered. This was Quirky Docs. If you found this breakdown helpful, like and subscribe for more deep dives into global power and corruption.